Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long? When did you get back?
What was it 2 days? 2 days ago? Yeah, flew
Yeah.
back 2 days ago.
How long you home for?
Till Tuesday, fly back. Got
Yeah.
camp starting.
I got you.
So
What time? When does camp start? Tuesday.
yeah, or actually, our first practice will be Wednesday, but we've got our first meeting, team meeting on Tuesday night. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. So everyone, welcome to another episode of the Satellite. Today's guest, Eli Heidenreich, halfback, wing back, receiver for Navy. Great friend of mine. We've known each other for years. So really excited to get Eli on and give you guys more content. So, you guys want to start off how we kind of met each other?
I mean, yeah,
Just bring it back.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I mean, I've known Rob. I think it was, I want to say 7th or 8th grade.
I think it was 7th grade.
It was going down 210s down in the south side, and just like it clicked ever since then. You know, been building that relationship.
Yeah,
So.
I feel like what I remember was like you and Cade. We always kind of like just stayed together because we're like younger guys because we were like the youngest like kind of out that bunch. A lot of like the evolved guys really were like older. We were kind of like the young guys. So I remember just kind of like gravitating towards you and Cade. And yeah, then we got to play with each other with 707.
Yeah.
That was dope. Loved that.
That was good times.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess we can just talk about high school. Kind of. I remember you had a pretty good like sophomore year, right? Did you play at all your freshman year?
No, we had like a freshman team. I remember Joey Daniels was the only kid who got pulled up. He played JV that year, but like me and Alex Texa and all those other guys were playing freshman football. It was a good time. But.
So sophomore year was your first like real year of varsity?
Yeah, I played cornerback. I didn't play any offense at the time. Played cornerback. I mean, I was probably 150 pounds soaking wet, going against some pretty big time dudes. I think my first game ever playing varsity, Derek Davis, Tui. There were some big names on that gateway team.
Was Courtney there? Or no,
Courtney
he
graduated
left.
the year before.
I played Courtney my freshman year, and he put me on the news.
Courtney, Jeremiah, Juvie.
Yeah, Juvie was crazy.
He was.
Bro, I remember Juvie had a punt return on us. I think he had like 2 punt returns. Dog, it looked like he was playing Madden out there, like just circle button, just spin move, everything. Like it was insane. Like, and then Courtney, he had a tunnel screen. It was like my first game playing varsity, like freshman year. Called tunnel screen on the opposite side of the field. He reversed field, bro. He just blew right past me, bro. Like he has a different type of speed.
Yeah, there were some scary gateway teams I remember watching growing up. Like they were always loaded with guys.
Yeah. And then my freshman year, like I think Peabody, Pat, they put him in like garbage time because he was like a freshman too. Obviously, he took one off for like 60 yards too at running back. Like that team's just nuts.
He scored on us. He mossed one of the other corners pretty bad in the end zone. I remember watching that. Yeah, he was. We were same class, and I was like, damn. He was a lot bigger than me at the time, and I was like, he was. I remember that game. It was not the best. Yeah, not the best first game I could say. But,
So did you guys play? Obviously, you guys played Central that year, sophomore year. But like, how'd that game go?
I'm trying to remember. I want to say, I know we played them in the playoffs and they beat us pretty bad.
Did you play them in your playoffs your sophomore year?
Yeah, they beat us in like the semifinals pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they also, I can't remember if we beat them in the regular season. I want to say they beat us too in the regular season, but that team was legit. They were loaded too.
Yeah. Can you hold on. I just want you to kind of maybe angle your mic towards you a little bit more. Can you say something again?
Yep. How's that sound?
It sounds good, but can you just like, or maybe, just move it to the right of you, kind of just like closer to you.
Yeah. Do that.
Maybe have it higher a little bit. Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, that's cool. I'd rather make sure it's straight than not. But so do you think the rivalry kind of started after that sophomore year?
I'd say so, yeah. And I think junior year is when it really picked up.
Yeah.
I think a big thing that kind of went into it is I had a lot of friends on the team.
Right, yeah.
JD, Dev Barron,
So we
Anthony
played
Specca.
Evolve with all of them.
Yeah, all Evolve guys.
Yeah.
So it was like, we were boys, but the competition was there too. We really wanted to beat each other. And junior year is when we beat them in the regular season.
Really.
No one really expected us to do that. We weren't really making any waves at the time, but we ended up kind of shocking them and beating them. But yeah, it's always been. I feel like that rivalry's always kind of been there, and I think it definitely heated up like sophomore, junior year.
So kind of switch gears a little bit. Talk about like your recruiting process. In your junior year.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were like kind of COVID kids that got affected really bad. Obviously, they're giving everyone extra years back, so they really weren't throwing offers as they were years prior. So can you talk about your kind of recruiting process during your junior year?
For sure. So, I'd say kind of to sum it up, like I wasn't very heavily recruited. I think I only had 3-4 Division I offers like going into my senior year.
Yeah.
I'd say I had a pretty solid junior season, some solid film, but it wasn't enough to really get me any scholarship looks.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches still wanted to see more, so I got a lot of camp invites. And
did you run like a 4.2 like shuttle at Toledo?
I did.
4.1, something crazy.
I ran like a 4. I think I ran a sub 4, like a 3.9, like 3.95.
Because I remember
or
you
something.
like posted, and it was like we were texting like the group chat. And I'm just like, bro, like that's insane. Like
I remember running like I think it was a sub 4 at Yale.
Yeah.
And they didn't really. They were like, go.
Not
They
even
made me do
Yale?
it again. What's up?
Yale didn't offer you?
Yeah, I don't think I had a single. None of the Ivies.
I remember like you got like Davidson, right?
Yeah,
I remember Davidson.
That was a school I was looking at a lot. I went down and visited them and liked it a lot. But the camp, I'd say I camped pretty well, but still they wanted to see more.
Yeah,
and
definitely. I remember you and Kate, like you guys used to always hit that inside move, stem to dig. Like that was your bread and butter. Like, you guys always use that. Like obviously you're a freak athlete, so like that. I remember you always posting your times and like just getting like really discouraged for you too, because like I know how good you are. Like I know, obviously like we're just as good as all the other kids that were getting the same look. So it hurt for me too, because I remember like we were with each other most of that summer too, working out. So yeah,
it was definitely a bit of a struggle. I kind of like at times you get a little down on yourselves, be like, why aren't these coaches looking at me? But I think it just in the end like motivated me to work harder, and honestly, it was kind of a blessing in a way looking at it now. But
and then when did you commit to Navy?
It was the end of July, so before my senior year. I think I got the offer from them. It was only like 3 weeks, maybe a month prior to that, so it was a pretty quick turnaround. I got the offer, and then I went down and visited, and I loved it, and it just made sense, so I committed.
So did you kind of want to get like that? Did you, like, for me personally, like, obviously I was visiting a lot of schools, and, like, they want you to, like, commit before the season. But for me, like, I didn't have, like, the offer I really, like, wanted. So, like, I kind of took a chance to kind of bet on myself to, like, you know, see what I could get, like, during the season. Did you just want to get out the way, or did you just love Navy so much at that point?
I talked with my family, and I kind of knew that I always knew I wanted to commit prior to my senior year and just worry about football and just not have, any other stressors on me, just go out and ball.
Right.
I did think there were a few conversations I had with my family and coaches about waiting and maybe seeing how my senior season went and going and, trying to get some bigger offers. But honestly, I went down to Navy, and I love the coaches. I love the program and the school, and it just it made sense for me. So, yeah. So
kind of walk me through your kind of senior season, because it was definitely crazy. I'm about to pull up your stats right now.
Yeah. That was, that was that period of time, that 6-month season was, one of the kind of best times of my life, I could say. It was pretty cool. So we went into the season, we knew we were good. We had a strong senior class, and
like did you think, I mean, like, if you guys don't know, you won Whip-Yules, won state. You guys didn't win state in how many years at Lebo?
That was our first time,
ever, and then
first ever state championship.
Win Whip-Yules in like what, 30 years?
21 years was the gap in between our championships for Whip-Yule.
Yeah.
But We went in and we knew we could win the WPIAL. We knew
Right.
Central was really good and NA was really good. Those were the two teams we are kind of looking at, and like the idea of winning a state championship wasn't really talked about much, in our within like the players or coaching staff. But we went in and we knew the WPIAL was a real, possibility for the team that we had. So we, started off the season real well, but we didn't really have any big tests. We kind of played some, I'd say, teams that aren't as competitive.
Right.
I don't know if I want to name them, but
Yeah,
I feel like people probably have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
But,
So especially like 6A, and especially how they have it set up, and especially when we played, there's like what 6 teams.
Yeah, there's
Maybe like
not
5.
many
Yeah,
teams
there's not
in 6A.
many, and like you obviously have like powerhouse like Central is going to be good every year. NA kind of is usually pretty up there. And other than that, like it's kind of it's
Seneca will have their years.
Yeah, Seneca always has like bigger players, so they usually hang around. But like if it's not Central or like NA, when Pine was in it, obviously
Pine was always
Pine was
there were
really
some
good.
years where they were legit.
Yeah, they still are really legit in 5A.
Always good, yeah.
So, do you think? Sorry to cut you off, but do you think they should bring it back to 4 classifications for WPIAL?
Honestly, I do think that would make the most sense. I think it would make it a lot more competitive, especially in 6A. I feel like it kind of just there's only like 2 or 3 real good teams. Like I think you should have to play better competition to be a WPIAL champion. But I think it would be kind of difficult to class back down. But
yeah, I think especially like what we were talking about, like 6A, like there's not enough teams to even make that really competitive. Especially when you have schools like the 1A and like 2A schools, like, and having them at like Heinz Field too. Like you didn't get to play at Heinz Field.
I know. I was.
And I feel also like you're the highest classification. Like why is the 1A school at Heinz 2A? Like it should be, if anything, like the higher classifications.
I agree. That's always something we talk about.
Yeah.
We wish
because there's a better turnout too.
Yeah,
for sure.
No doubt. I mean, you want to go watch the game at Heinz Field, not Norwin. No disrespect to Norwin, but Norwin Stadium's not Heinz Field.
Yeah, it's definitely not Heinz Field, but it's not that bad.
It's a nice stadium.
Yeah, but
no,
it's definitely did you guys play them in regular season?
Norwin?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played them at Norwin too.
Yeah, like you don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, that's just another game, really. And what was that? Yeah, so continue what you were saying about senior year.
So like I was saying, we kind of went in knowing we could be good, and we didn't really have much competition at the start of the year. Had some pretty kind of easier games, and then we our first real test was NA, and if I remember correctly, we either put up 40 or 50 on them and beat them pretty good
against NA.
NA,
damn,
and that they had a good team.
Right,
they had a big line. They had Dinkins, Alu.
Taylor was pretty
Taylor.
solid.
They had they had some other names too.
Yeah.
Their quarterback was good, and they had I'm blanking on his name, but he's Kyron Boyd.
Yeah,
he was young at the time.
Yeah.
I want to say he was a sophomore, but he was still a good player then. That team was pretty loaded, and we ended up putting a pretty hefty points up on them.
So
and
do you think that's when it kind of clicked for you guys?
Yeah, that's when I knew that like we really had a shot to win the WPIAL.
Yeah.
Still wasn't really thinking about state at the time, and when we were still waiting to play Central, that's kind of the team we were looking at. So we got to them, and we ended up beating them pretty good too. I think we beat them by 2 or 3 scores.
Was it senior year that you guys had that rain delay? So can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, that was a really interesting experience because we went in at halftime and it was like pouring raining, and we came back out and tried to play the game, and it wasn't happening. So we picked up the next day, Saturday, at like halfway through the third quarter, I want to say. And I remember going home that night, Friday night, and my dad made me go get like a bag of ice from 7-Eleven, and then he was like, go get some food. So I went to McDonald's right next door. I got like a 20-piece McNugget. And
talk about our McDonald's cake me and you had in high school. Do you still eat McDonald's?
Bro, all the time.
Really?
Crazy.
So if you guys don't know, I'm still a big Ocho Cinco fan, and obviously like his big things was McDonald's, and I just love all the flash and like everything about him. So like being a high school kid, you're like, even like growing up, like you levitate to like, what your heroes are doing at the time. So I'm thinking like, shit, if Ocho can do it, I can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Even like the name like Uno Seis I got from Ocho Cinco. So yeah, all of junior year, like I remember if I hit a home run, like my junior year I had like 8 home runs. I like led with Buell, and my like treat was, going and get McDonald's. Like I used to get McDonald's before like my baseball games, after my baseball games, like even like high school after my games, like so bad.
Was there like a 2 or 3 week period where you ate McDonald's like for like all 3 meals?
Oh yeah,
like every
yeah,
single
no,
day.
bad. Yeah, it was real. Like,
Dude, I
was
remember this.
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
looking at. I'm like, dude, like,
And I'll post it all the time. Like, it was like so bad. Like I think I had like an Instagram like highlight on my profile of me just eating McDonald's. Like that's how bad it was. And then I think it was like I think it was maybe like June-ish. Like I'm playing AAU ball. I'm obviously like traveling a lot for football because I'm taking my visits, and like I just felt like shit, like so bad, and I was like, I gotta stop doing this. So that's when I started eating back. And I got an air fryer my junior year, so I used to get like Tyson chicken tenders, and my mom used to like put them in the air fryer, like make me like eat them before like my games, obviously, and even all of that like fried food, like I just couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, that was very short lived for me.
I had in high school senior year, I had McDonald's Monday, and it was like my ritual every Monday. I would go get the same thing from that McDonald's. It's like right next to my house.
What was your McDonald's order?
It would be, this was in high school, it was a 10-piece McNugget meal, and I would get a chocolate milkshake, and then I would get a quarter pounder with cheese. That was like every Monday.
I can't do the burgers. I
Really?
can't. Because, like, I'm very, like, weird about my meat.
Sure.
Pause. I'm very, like, you know what I'm saying? So I can do the chicken tender. Like, my meal was, McNuggets, a fry, and I really like the strawberry milkshakes they had in high school.
They are good, yeah.
So that was, like, my thing if I didn't get chocolate. But what sauces would you get?
I was pretty simple. Just got like ranch and barbecue. Ranch, barbecue, and honey mustard.
Ranch is crazy.
What do you mean?
On regular plain nuggets?
Yeah.
Nah, that's crazy.
I think that's pretty fair.
I'll get like if I get buffalo, like if there's buffalo on it, then like okay, that's justified. But just ranch on like plain, like that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
But
it's my thing.
Yeah, but you left off of.
Oh yeah,
getting a bag of ice after the.
Yeah, we were so.
Central game.
Friday, my dad made me go get like a bag of ice, a Pedialyte from 7-Eleven.
This was after or this is all before?
This was in between the games. This was like Friday, like halfway through the Central game,
right?
Because I still had the other half of my game on Saturday morning because it got rained out.
Right. So this is after it got rained out.
Yeah, it's like Friday night, like after I went home.
Yeah.
Went and got the ice, Pedialyte, got like my dad made me get some food, some McDonald's, and I was sitting in like my bathtub at home doing like an ice bath and like eating McDonald's or like a Pedialyte.
Did you do ice baths a lot in high school? Was that your thing?
A decent amount, like not as much. I do them a lot now because we got one that's like a big tub at school. I'll do them like probably one a week.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of those. Try and get, if I'm feeling myself, go neck under, but usually just legs under.
Right.
So
yeah, I do. I'm a big ice bath guy, but I only do it to wake up. Because it actually slows down like your blood flow. Yeah. So that slows down your like recovery process. Yep. So I only do it to like the first thing I would wake up, do, especially like during camp and when I'm at school because it's very accessible at school. So that's what I kind of do, just wake up and it's really like good for you. And then I'll get in the hot tub for like 10 minutes. So make sure everything's loose. But
it's good stuff. I don't think enough people like utilize that. I guess it's kind of tough at how many people have like ice baths at home, but I try and get one of those on Molder, get like one of those tubs outside and try and use those. But yeah, I'm a big fan of ice baths.
So how did they kind of come up to the conclusion like, oh, like you guys are gonna have to play like on Saturday? Like, did you guys know like when you guys were waiting in the locker room? Like, how long did you guys even have to wait in the locker room?
So we were sitting in our weight room and we didn't really know what was going on. I mean, it was pouring raining outside, and our coach came in.
Did you guys start late or something? Or did the storm just, like, hit that area really bad?
It hit really bad.
Because obviously, like, everyone was playing that Friday, but I didn't have to, cancel it or anything.
I maybe it just was our area, but, like, I think we started at 7. It was bad. Like, it was thundering, raining. Like, it was a pretty heavy storm. Yeah. But I remember our coach came in, and he was just like, go home, get good rest. Like, we're gonna finish the game tomorrow. I was like, shit. Yeah. It was kind of surprising. I never would have thought I'd be playing like another game on Saturday too. Went out there and no shade to my Central boys, but we kind of kicked their ass the next day too. So
JD, because I was like, I'm around like JD and like Gannon. I remember like talking to him about it. Wasn't there something that happened with Coach Palco?
Oh yeah, on the sideline. I remember, and this is from our side, our point of view.
Right.
I think we were up maybe a score or two on Central, and somehow I think maybe Dev was over there first, and Dev was kind of throwing some chirps at our sideline a little bit, and I think Coach Palco wasn't really having it. He kind of,
Dev's a talker.
Yeah, Dev's he's always been a talker.
Very passionate. Passionate.
No doubt. But Coach Palco wasn't having it, and then they were kind of going at it, and JD came over, and he was like pointing at like a ring, I think, because they had like two. I think they won the 2 years prior. And then Coach Palco put up like however many he had. He had like 7 or 8 at the time. He was like this. He was like it was pretty funny. But yeah, I remember there was definitely some exchanging of words on the sideline over there.
So that was towards the end of the season, right? Was that your last time?
That was, I think that was right around like October. That was kind of getting towards the end of the regular season.
Was playoffs kind of just easy for you guys leading up to the Whitfield game?
Yeah, well, actually, no. So our hardest game of the year, or of that whole season, was North Allegheny.
Okay.
We played NA for the second time, and they came out and they were really close to beating us. I remember, because what happened was our offense wasn't clicking at all. Like Alex couldn't get going, I couldn't get going, and Joey was actually hurt that game. He came, he didn't play the whole second half. So our whole offense was kind of just, we had David Shields was the quarterback who just got, shout out David Shields, just got drafted.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like last week to the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, second round. Yeah, that's money too.
Yeah,
second round's money,
no doubt.
And you just get, like, I remember my AAU team, I ended up like, playing with the Pittsburgh Stars. Like our best like player right now, like if you like really look from the outside, is Tyler Pitzer, who
he's pitcher.
He's a pitcher. Bro, when we were like growing up, like he was like decent, but like if you were telling us like he was gonna be like the best one out of the bunch, like right, I mean, like he just gets to sit back, just rip it all the time. Like I was actually just talking to him. I actually want to get him, Gavin, Gavin Kelly, he's at West Virginia. And then Michael DiMartini too, but yeah, he's out in Colorado right now with his girl. And they told me to have to like play summer league or anything, so he's just out in Colorado, just live, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that PL life is nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that I remember, because I played a few years with Dave too, and he's I mean I remember going like live at bats against him, and he's like a freshman throwing 90 with just gross movement and a really nice curveball. But I remember he came in that game, and he was a freshman at the time, and I mean, that's just a lot to just, throwing a freshman into the middle of a playoff game. And we just, nothing was really clicking. But that game, we had 2 defensive touchdowns. I had a pick 6, and then I think it was Connor Young, who's also a Navy commit. He had a scoop and score. And then I had a punt return touchdown. So we had 3 non-offensive touchdowns, and I think we won that game like 28-21, maybe. I think we only won by a touchdown, and like it was that was our hardest game of the year by far.
Do you think playing, obviously, like 6A, not a lot of teams, like you have to play all those teams again in the playoffs. Is that harder to play the same team again twice?
I'd say I think they come more prepared and kind of knowing what we're trying to do offensively.
Especially if you beat them like that bad the first time, like you're obviously, this is human nature. You're not going to think that much of them like the next time you play them.
Sure, yeah, I think that could kind of get in someone's head and not really take them as seriously. But I mean, we went into that game knowing that it's like NA. They're coached by one of the great playoff NA, coached by one of the greatest coaches in Whitfield history, and like loaded with talent. Like we knew it was going to be a battle, but that was I think that was harder than our state championship game. Like that was the hardest game that year. But the next game, the Whitfield championship, can't say it was as hard.
I went to that game. I think I was at like the 50-yard line or whatever, but it was close at the beginning.
They scored first.
It was a game for sure at the beginning. Then
Gannon had a nice run. They drove right down the field on us, and we were kind of like, oh shit. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be. We thought. It was
Oh
gonna
my
be,
god, it was packed. Like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Bad.
Both
Like,
sides were.
crazy.
That was a cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool experience.
Yeah.
The crowd they were fired up,
Mm.
but they scored first, and then, I think we went down and scored, and then, it kind of opened up after that. I think I think the first quarter was pretty close, but then like Texas had like 3 or 4 big plays and just kind of opened it up, and then our offense really started clicking. Our defense was making plays, and it was
I'm excited. Obviously, Alex is gonna come in after that because I remember I didn't really know a lot about Alex. Like I know you always like play with him, but like
yeah.
I don't think I even joined let him like join OTW till like I think maybe was after that game, or I think it was. I think I went to one of your other playoff games, maybe, and I saw him and he went crazy. I was like, damn, like he's legit. Yeah. So kind of talk about how you got him to come with you at Navy, because he had a pretty decent amount of offers. Like I know there are obviously a lot of like FCS, but they're high like FCS schools, so it wasn't like any like what I mean. Like I remember he had Richmond, like Albany, a lot of like the CAA, like a lot of top tier schools.
Yeah, he was a lot more recruited than me. I'd say he had a lot, like pretty much every like FCS school. Like
I remember he had Holy Cross too.
Holy Cross, Delaware. Those were like the 2 schools I think he was looking at the most. Holy Cross, Delaware, all the Ivies.
Yeah.
And then Army, Navy. I don't know if he had Air Force. I don't think he had Air Force, but he actually ended up getting the Navy offer before me.
Okay.
And so, my Navy offer comes along, and I commit. And I knew going into that our senior year that he was going to wait a little bit and kind of feel it out, see if he could get some Power 5 bigger offers.
Do you think? Oh, because obviously you committed before this season, so like obviously like he knows you're going there. Did you guys were you guys talking about it during the season a lot?
We were, and I was always really trying to convince him. I was always kind of in his ear, like, bro, come on, like let's keep it going. Let's go to Navy together. And I don't want to say I think maybe had probably 5%, 10% of his influence in his decision. Maybe just a little bit, but most of it was it just made sense for him too, and it was he felt the same way I did. Really like the program, the school, and but I joke with him. If a lot of people ask us like who committed first, and like when I tell them it was me, I'm like, I take all the credit for it. But no, and in reality, I would say I just had a tiny little fraction of influence.
So how long have you guys known each other?
First grade.
Oh really?
Yeah, first
grade.
Way
back.
Way back.
How much does that mean to you to have a guy you've known like your whole life, going to college together, and like not even like going to college together. You guys are playing football at Navy. Like it's not like you guys are just sitting on the bench. You guys are the guys at Navy. Yeah,
it's just continuing it in college has really just expanded our friendship. That's my guy. It's my brother. Yeah. He's my best friend, and
finna be like in the water and shit with him too.
Yeah.
Serving.
Yeah, but it's definitely been it's been cool having him. He's like we're always just like palling around at school. Yeah. Come back here and hang out at home, and it's been really nice having him at Navy, no doubt.
Has he made the like transition like easier to like knowing you have
that first year is really hard on anybody going from civilian life to military life. It's definitely a challenge, but having him there was nice, especially just going into it knowing like no matter what I'm gonna have him there, like my guy. So that definitely that first year it was really nice having him around.
Did you guys like lean on each other a lot, like like because obviously like I know I have a guy in my school obviously that went to Navy. Actually, I had even another guy. He went to Army. Like they both went to prep, but they obviously like they didn't make it.
Yeah.
Like, was there any like kind of thought that like maybe this isn't like what I want? And like Alex was there, and like vice versa.
Yeah. Some kids there go there and they absolutely like despise the way of life and the school and for me and him, I'd say neither of us really struggled that much where we were really considering leaving. Like I was never like, I can't do this. I want to get out of here. But I mean, there were definitely times where it's just like sucks. Like you're I mean, long days, school's hard, football's hard, and you're just like, damn, like it's tough. And yeah, having them there is definitely nice, no doubt. Like just like venting to them, something bad happens or I do bad on a test, go talk to them.
Are you guys roommates at school?
We aren't. We're actually not allowed to be.
Oh, really?
Well, it's kind of complicated. The way it works in Navy is
You probably don't even get to pick. Oh.
you do, but it's from a small group of people. So the way the school is divided up into, it's called companies.
Right.
There's 36 companies, and you're randomly putting it.
Okay.
So if me and him were in the same company, we'd be allowed to room together. But since we're not, you can only room with people that are in your company.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we had a 1 in 36 chance of that happening. But yeah.
Gotcha. You probably still see each other?
Yeah, I mean, we see each other every day, either at football or we're actually both the same major, so we have a lot of classes together too. So
that's real nice.
Pretty fun.
Yeah. Can you kind of walk us through a day of life?
Yeah.
At Navy.
So
Can you kind of talk about? Don't you guys have kind of a time where you first report where it's nothing but training? Too?
Yeah, sure. So I'll talk about that's called plebe summer. When you first get to Navy, the first summer you report in June. And you have about 2 months of just like pure military training where their whole goal is transitioning you from being a civilian into like someone who's in the military.
Right.
So that like 2 month period, it's waking up every day at 5:30 and you have a 2-hour workout in the morning, and then your whole day is scheduled with just, I mean, we'll do stuff like we'll go shoot or we'll go sail. We'll work out more. Like there's a ton of different stuff you do, and they're just teaching you all these skills that you're gonna need to know while you're at the academy.
Yeah.
And it's definitely tough. You're getting yelled at a lot. There's little things like they're trying to teach you discipline, so you're not allowed to look around. You're actually not allowed to look down at your food while you're eating. So like you have to like stare straight ahead, right? And you have to eat the food like this, and you have to squaring your corners. And you have to eat it's like you look like a robot. But
wow, what's when you're doing the military? What was it? What did you call it?
What's up?
What did you call that part of the summer?
Plebe summer.
Plebe summer.
Yeah.
Like is the food good?
The food is pretty good.
Okay,
like
really?
low key good. Like you're moving so much, you're always hungry, and you're always doing stuff. So I think that kind of goes into a little bit. But it's solid food. I'll definitely take it. Yeah.
I got you.
But that summer, it's kind of a blur now, and it's funny. I just got back from school, but you'll see all the plebes right now wearing they have this like a Popeye type uniform, if you know Popeye,
right,
like this all white uniform with the little kind of hat on.
Is this just your first year there?
What's up?
You just do the plebe summer, your first
summer there. Yeah, the first summer there's plebe summer, and then after that you'll do different military trainings. Like this summer I went on a submarine for like a week.
How was that?
I'm glad I experienced it. I was kind of curious about that, like the submarine community going into it, but I could say now I don't think it's for me. It's just hard being away from your family and away from the sun. I mean, you're living in this like small and like you're really close to other people. There's these submarines. The one I was on is like 100 yards long, and there's like I want to say 150 people on the type of submarine I was on. So it's really close quarters and just not the community I'm looking to go into, but I'm glad I got the experience.
So are you still looking? Do you know what you're gonna do like after obviously like football's done?
I'm kind of starting to narrow down on it a little bit. I'm thinking right now Marine Corps is my number one. I'm also kind of looking into some of the cyber stuff, but that
I remember. Did you make a computer in high school?
I built a computer in high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the cyber community is pretty competitive. There's not many slots, so it's a little tough to go into. But if not, I'm thinking Marine Corps. Yeah.
Do you guys have to shave your heads every year too?
No, that's only your freshman year. There, you gotta shave your head. So thankfully, no more.
How were you like? What were your thoughts on that? Because me personally, I can't shave this shit. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical about it, but I let my brother and my dad. I ended up letting them cut my hair like 3 days before I left to go to the Navy.
With that, huh?
Yeah, they did. It was hilarious. They were filming it, kind of making fun of me. I mean, it was the first time in my whole life I ever had real short hair. So it was pretty cool. They just buzzed my head in the bathroom, and so I got like 2 days at home with a buzzed head before I went down. But it was kind of a neat experience, I guess, letting them do that. But
yeah. So after you guys are done doing that with the summer, when does your football training kind of kick into gear?
Right at the start of June.
Mm.
So, I mean, I've been at school, like prior to this, I was at school since like the start of June, just working out, every day, running, lifting. They make us take summer classes too. Just makes it a little easier on our course load going into the season. So did that too. Got a class out of the way. But
so for the summer, are you guys just working out, or do you guys have to do any like type of training?
We'll do that military. We have like mandatory military training. We'll do at the start of the summer to kind of get it out of the way, so we can be at school for all of our football stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, kick it into camp. Is it straight, football?
Yeah.
Have to. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty much 7 days a week. You know how it is. Just it's a grind.
Yeah.
It's definitely a grind.
Yeah. So how do you kind of like? Is there during the season? Is there anything at all that you have to do that's military kind of related that probably I don't have to do that? Rob Moore's and schools like that.
I'd say not as much during the season.
Right.
We'll definitely have a handful of things. Every morning we'll have, it's called morning quarters formation. We got to get up 7 a.m., be in uniform, and meet with our company that I talked about earlier a little bit. You got to go meet with them, and it's just making sure everyone's there and present.
Gotcha.
So that's like one military-related thing we'll do pretty much every day during the season. And then another thing I'd say is we have these, they're called forestall lectures. They'll bring the whole school together at night around, like, I want to say they start around 7 or 8 p.m. And
every night?
Not every night. It's like probably one every like 2 or 3 weeks, I'd say. Maybe one a month. And they have these important speakers. They'll bring like either CEOs or former admirals in the Navy or some high-level people who will come and talk to us about, different topics, leadership, just different things. And that's another thing because, I mean, we'll have class all day, and then we'll go to football, and then we'll have one of these lectures at like 8 p.m., and then we're getting back to our room at like 9:30 with like 3 hours of homework, and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
how is the school like part? The
it's
homework
hard.
Load and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. That's honestly, I'd say probably about half my stress while being at Navy is like the school side of things.
Okay.
It does depend on the major, but it's just you're taking a lot of credits and you don't have a lot of time. And I mean, I think they probably do that on purpose, teach you a little time management. But at the same time, learning a lot. It's definitely learning some cool topics. So,
How do you kind of manage, obviously football, academics?
Yeah, it's just the little pockets of time you'll have during the day. If I have a period off or some time at lunch, like get a few homework assignments done. Try and just find little periods of time during the day when I can get stuff out of the way, so I can get to bed on time. Or it is definitely a challenge. There are some late nights. It might be up till midnight or 1 or 2, and just how it is. Everyone else is doing it too.
Yeah, so can you kind of talk about your freshman year, like how, because you guys run like the wishbone, right? Like how was like even learning the playbook your freshman year? How was all that, playing big time football and all that?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge learning the offense. I didn't really play as a freshman. I think that kind of makes it a little easier. Like I didn't have the actual pressure being like a starter as a freshman, but still like you're still expected to do all the same things and learn the offense. And it was definitely a shift, a pretty big shift. Going from like a spread, which I played in high school, to our
I wouldn't have done too bad at a Navy or Army because I ran a wishbone my whole kind of high school, and like even like senior year, like it was still a wishbone. We were just in 2-point stances. You know what I mean? So
it was a little bit of like a struggle learning, and I'd say the biggest thing is the blocking assignments. Like you're learning, what type of front defense is in, and then based off that, like who the O-line's gonna block, and then in our offense, like who's the read key, who's the pitch key. You don't want to block them, so you have to figure out. Might be a safety, might be a corner, might be a backer. It was definitely a learning curve at the start.
How much was that like a thought like for you? Obviously, like when you were committing, because like me personally, like when Army, like Navy were like recruiting me, like besides the military aspect, like I don't want to play for a wishbone like offense. So obviously, like you're really good like at having the ball in your hands too. So was that just not even kind of a thought, or you're just like okay?
It was a thought. I definitely,
Because you're definitely more a receiver in high school.
yeah, and that's kind of what they got me playing more now.
Yeah.
We can talk about that a little later, but like at the start when our offense is a lot different than what it used to be when I was a freshman. In I talked about it a lot with my dad. I think he was probably one of the people that was like the most concerned in that sense, but we did talk about it a lot. Like it doesn't really, I feel like, suit me in the best ways compared to some other offenses, but kind of just looked past it a little bit at the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like if anyone could do it, like I feel like it's definitely like you to be kind of like a wing back because you have like that toughness, like you can like cut very well,
Sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it definitely it's taught me how to block a lot better. I'd say we do have a little bit more blocking on our plate than compared to a receiver like I played in high school, but I feel like I've adjusted pretty well to it, especially now having 2 years under my belt. Yeah.
So talk to me your first Army Navy game and that whole experience and all the extra festivities you guys do. Like I forget what your uniforms were your freshman year, but I mean last year that shit was so sick.
So my freshman year they were the NASA jerseys. They were these all white like NASA jerseys, and they were
I do remember
sweet.
those. Those were sick.
Yeah.
Oh my god, those were so sick.
They had like the moon on the side of the helmet, and then I think they had like an astronaut on the other, and it's pretty cool. Our equipment dudes do like a crazy good job of keeping it like really under wraps of what our uniform is gonna be for Army Navy that year.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew
knows,
even just like any small details about it. They really keep it under wraps. So we have like a day before they announce it to the public, they'll do like a reveal to us, and they'll have like one of the guys will put on the whole uniform, and we'll be in like our theater, and they'll come in and reveal the uniform, and everyone. That's always one of the most like everyone's kind of super excited that day just to see it. But that they always do that to show us the uniforms because that's a pretty big like chunk of like the excitement that goes into it, and then from like the game. Like from the game side of things, as a freshman, I didn't play, I didn't touch the field at all. So
there's still a lot of like extra stuff that normally doesn't happen, like in a game. It's still a big like rivalry. How even is it like during practice that week?
It's really intense because we usually have 2 weeks of practice leading up to it. But these last 2 years we had 2 weeks, and it's like the intensity ramps up. I feel like we practice. We kind of take pride in it. Our team practices real hard. Like we hit a lot, and we have really physical practices.
Do you guys go live that week? Those 2 weeks?
Yeah, we will on the Saturday. We'll go live. I don't. They're like don't take each other to the ground, but like the dudes are going at it, and it's just like it's real physical. And that's just what it takes. I mean, Army's gonna be doing the same thing. It's just that 1% more like going into that game. It means that much more. And leading up to it, those 2 weeks of practices are always they're longer. They're just and we don't have an indoor either. Really? I remember my freshman year, it was probably like 20 degrees outside, and like just like for whatever reason, wasn't snowing, it was raining, and it was just like it was miserable. But like Army Navy week, like we're practicing. It's not like we're gonna.
Oh yeah, definitely. What else can you do?
Exactly. So. Those practices going up to that game it's intense.
So is it always at MetLife, or do they kind of change it every year?
They switch it. It's always at an NFL stadium.
Okay.
My freshman year, it was at the Eagles Stadium.
Okay.
And then this past year, it was up in Boston at the Patriots Stadium at Gillette.
Gotcha.
This year, it's at the Commander Stadium in DC. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're always playing at NFL stadium. So it's a real cool environment. Like stadium's completely sold out. Yeah. And I mean, you're coming out. We got our flyover, which will be like 4, I want to say F-18 fighter jets coming out, flying over while we're running out into the field, and then Army will come out, and they got their like 4 helicopters that are flying over the field, and it's just intense. Yeah. It's like. I can't even describe it. It's just intense. Yeah.
I got you. So kind of take it to this year. Obviously stepping up in a big role. Did you kind of like get your spot during camp? Like how did you kind of earn your kind of starting spot this year?
So, Yeah, going like last season, I played like every game, but
Yeah.
kind of halfway through last season, I was really like the starter,
Yeah.
where I would start out on the field.
Mm.
The way my position works, we kind of like I would like split
Rotate,
reps
yeah.
at the start, and now we graduated a few kids, and so now had a good spring ball and just kind of like
Yeah.
solidified myself into that role on the offense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it went into it. So
So do you guys? I remember watching your Notre Dame game in Germany. Was that your first game last year?
yeah,
Okay, so kind of how was it? Flying over to Germany, kind of like take me.
we
through all
actually
that
we
stuff.
played them in Ireland,
Oh,
Dublin.
Ireland. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was
Dude.
Germany. Yeah, how was that? When
That-
do you guys leave? Like, I want to know everything because that's crazy.
Yeah, so and we played them. We actually played them like a week earlier too. So it was like the first game
Yeah.
of the college football season was us first.
You guys play each other like every year, right? That's like
Yeah.
a big rivalry.
Yeah, they're one of our rivals.
Yeah.
We play them every year. There's some like agreement that goes back to like World War II where
Right.
they agreed. I forget what
Yeah,
happened,
yeah.
but like they agreed that they would play us every year or
Yeah.
something like that. But
How was it playing Heinisch again? Because that's kind of like central
Yeah.
tie, central versus Lebo.
yeah, so in Ireland after that game, they smoked us pretty bad. They beat us pretty good. Like they whooped our butt. But
Yeah.
I remember after the game talking to him a little bit, and it was funny catching up, like
Yeah.
seeing us both. Like he was wearing a Notre Dame uniform.
it's
We were
crazy,
in
yeah.
Dublin playing a football game. Like it was just weird that 2 years later we went from like playing in Pittsburgh against each
Yeah,
other, like
right.
being in Ireland playing in college football. But
Mm.
that was definitely a cool experience. Got a lot of respect for him. He's one of the best I've played against, especially at that position.
Yeah.
And it's I'm looking forward this year because I think last year we both kind of had more limited roles. Especially
Right.
it was our first game of the year. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't really in that crazy
Yeah, I
of a
mean,
role
I
yet.
remember watching it. I had picture day that day,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm literally watching on my phone like the whole time. I'm
Yeah.
in meetings, like I'm literally like in meetings like in film, and I literally had my phone like propped
Mm-hmm.
up to the side because I was watching you and Alex, and I was like, bro, I don't care. Like these are my dogs. Like
Yeah.
I'm in this bit. Sorry, I'm literally like watching. I'm like screaming at my phone. I'm like getting all excited and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm really like sharing on my team. And I was like, yeah, those are my like two dogs. Like you know what I'm saying. It's really cool to watch you guys even. I think you guys played like on a Thursday during the season.
Yeah, it was real
I
early.
think no, not even the Notre Dame game. You had
Memphis.
yeah, Memphis.
yeah.
Yeah, and I remember watching that game in like my dorm room. And did you score that game?
Alex did.
Alex,
I
yeah,
had
I
a
remember
few.
that.
I had a few plays, but Alex that was.
Yeah,
I
Alex
would
had a
say
big run.
that was like probably his best game of the year.
Yeah.
He had like over 100
Yeah, I remember
yards.
he broke that
a big
run.
touchdown run.
Yeah.
Like he went off that game,
Yeah.
and we should have beat them too. We
Yeah.
had the ball to like go score in like the last like 2 minutes, and we kind of choked a little bit.
I
But
gotcha.
that was Memphis. They're always tough. They got
Yeah.
some athletes over there for sure.
Yeah, so kind of take me through that Ireland weekend. Leading
Yeah.
up to Notre Dame and everything.
So we went. I want to say like 4 days before the game to get adjusted to the time zone
Yeah.
and everything over
How
there.
how big of a time zone is it?
I
Really
think it was like a
difference?
7-hour difference. I want to say 7 hours. in
Was
that,
it hard that first day?
that
Couple
first
days?
day? Everything felt weird. You're a little
Yeah.
thrown off, but I remember getting there and they had like a ton of people in the airport like
Okay.
welcoming us. Like there were like fans of like football
Oh,
there,
really?
and like it was pretty cool. Like they had a ton of people lined up in the airport, and we got there. And the first day we didn't really do much. I think we did practice, but
Yeah.
all 4 days leading up to it, we had like practices, walkthroughs, but they also, they had us do a like a tour of Dublin on this like big double-decker bus.
Yeah.
We went out they took us to a pub. We had dinner and had like a traditional like Irish meal.
Okay.
And
How was that?
It was good.
What was it?
I think it was fish.
Fish?
I want to say it was like fish.
Gotcha.
Can't remember.
Right. Yeah.
I think there was some soup there too,
I
maybe.
gotcha. Yeah.
But and then they had this band there that was really good, very talented. And they had like Irish dancers too on stage
Gotcha.
while we were eating. It was a real cool experience. So got a little kind of piece of their culture on that trip. That's a country I'd love to go back to. Like I feel like I only got like to scrape the surface of it.
Where are you guys playing this year?
We played Notre Dame at MetLife. We play them
Okay.
at the Giants Stadium this
gotcha.
year. So
This is gonna be still pretty cool.
yeah, not Ireland, but
Right.
take an
definitely
NFL
Ireland,
stadium.
Yeah. Right.
Because those games will be like sold out too.
Right.
We played them at the Ravens Stadium my freshman year, and it was pretty much sold out. Like Notre Dame's fans travel like crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So how was it when you had your first touchdown this year?
That was
Yeah.
cool. It was Wagner. It was our first home game. Played Wagner, and I want to say it was the fourth quarter. I came across and I got a jet sweep.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had like the most perfect blocking ever.
Yeah.
Like there were like two linemen downfield. Like my tight end was like blocking his tail off for me, and I just
Yeah.
had to make one dude miss. And then it was like a 40, 50-yard run.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, oh my god, like I'm in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like it was a cool experience. And I remember just like seeing my dad after, my family,
Yeah.
and just talking to them, like they were fired up. That was a pretty cool experience. Yeah.
So what was your best kind of memory so far of you at Navy?
Man, just kind of football or in general?
We do football and just in general.
Okay, I'll start off. So, freshman year, we do this thing called Protramid, and it's like our summer training.
Yeah.
You do like a few days. You fly planes. You hang out with the Marines for a few days. You go on a submarine, and it's just you and the football players, like the football players in my class. So there's like 60 of us, and we just got to like pile around for like 2 weeks doing like military stuff. Then we go to the beach in like the afternoon. We were done with our stuff, and it was, I'd say that's probably the best experience I've had away from football.
Yeah.
With football is tough. I want to say the Army-Navy games, I'd say they've both been really cool experiences, but
Yeah. How was it, playing this year? Because obviously you had a way bigger role in playing in it.
it was pretty unreal. Like I was just, obviously nervous, but just excited at the same time. Never played in a game of that magnitude, like even close to it. Like it's just being able to be on that field in such like a historic game with, I think there were like 7 million people watching this year, and it was just like, it was unreal.
Yeah.
I do like for that experience though, like I feel like I can't say Army Navy just because we haven't beaten them yet, and I feel like it's just kind of takes away from it a little bit. Still trying to get that win. I'm 0-2 against them right now, and it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
But no, I think we're gonna change it around the next 2 years. Yeah.
Kind of. We didn't even get to talk about your state game.
Yeah.
When we were talking about high school, how was that? Bringing first state to Mount Lebanon. How much did that mean to you and like the community?
Yeah. So once again, I feel like we went to that game like not really knowing like what was gonna happen in a sense. Like I had no idea if this team was, like, we knew St. Joe's. They're loaded.
Yeah,
they had
definitely.
probably like 15 Power 5 kids on that team. They were just loaded with talent. But like we were like we can win. Like we went in that game knowing that we could bring it back. But just kind of as the game went along, like it was very up and down. I feel like they had a lot of big plays and big moments, and like so did we.
Yeah.
And it did kind of come towards the end. And when we won that game, and it was pretty unreal. Like just seeing how our fans reacted and like how the student section reacted, it meant a lot to like us and then the whole community too. It was pretty cool seeing how all those people came out and supported us. But I remember the next day we drove back on our buses and we pulled into Uptown Mount Lebanon. If you haven't been to Uptown Mount Lebanon, it's just like one big main street, right? With all these shops and businesses. And we pulled in with the buses and the band was there, and there was this huge parade that went down. So we like marched down Uptown Mount Lebanon, the whole team. Like the streets were completely lined with people for like a mile. And we get down and like there was all these like fire trucks and like police cars, and it was just like it was out of a movie. Like you couldn't even make it up. It was unreal.
Because even like we get together like when you're home and you work out in Lebo, like the teachers even come up to you, the coaches, like they act like you guys some heroes. Well, you guys are for that to the community. Definitely. Like how much does that mean like to you to have that whole community like still recognize you and like appreciate all that you guys done for them?
It's definitely a cool feeling, I'd say. Just have like knowing you had some influence in like not in their lives, but just being able to bring that title back to them. It just shows how much it meant to them, and just kind of having that piece of history cemented and in our town is a cool feeling. For sure.
So I kind of want to touch about like on OTW before we kind of wrap up. And I think I just put like obviously I just put all you guys like in a group chat. I text you guys like the idea like what did you like? What were your first kind of like impressions of it? Like did you think it was gonna kind of make it to like this magnitude that it was now and how we had it to in like high school?
Initially I kind of just thought it was like very casual,
Right.
kind of like fun thing where we
Yeah.
would like text and be like let's go work out or something.
Yeah.
I didn't really think it was gonna become kind of like the brand it is today. Yeah, initially it was just it was me, you,
Gannon,
JD,
Cade,
Gannon. I think that was it, right?
Yeah.
Just the us four,
Yeah.
and I thought it was just thought it'd be pretty small and casual, and
Yeah.
just seeing how it's grown.
Mm.
I feel like in the last like 2 years has been pretty cool, and seeing
Yeah.
all the dudes in it playing at all these different colleges all
Right.
across the country, even different sports.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty cool like thing to watch, like
Yeah.
this journey for you.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate that.
yeah.
So I posted today on the Instagram, having people kind of swipe up
Yeah.
questions. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go through them with you right now. Okay, so from Theo Newhouse, he says, "Are you guys gonna win the American Conference this year?"
Okay. That's a good question. That's been one of our goals. We talk about it a lot. The coaches bring it up, players bring it up, our captains always talk about it, and I think that's something that's definitely a possibility for us. There's definitely like 2 or 3 teams that are up there. It's like Tulane, Rice, and Memphis who are like
Tulane's usually always
Yeah.
pretty legit. They got receiver Mario Williams. He was at Oklahoma with like Caleb Williams, then he went to USC. And yeah, he's legit. I like watching him in high school.
Yeah, so I do think it's a possibility for us. I think we got like an older defense with some kind of like vets on it and some real playmakers on defense. Then I think on offense we got playmakers too, with some kind of younger kids. I think our line looks real good. So I think people are kind of not really taking us too seriously, which is unfortunate. But I think within the first few games of the year they'll see that we're a legit contender in the American. So.
This is a good question. Can you wear whatever accessories drip on game days?
Like at Navy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually it kind of depends. Our head coach, Coach Newberry, does want us to look similar, and he'll
Right.
have us wearing like the same socks. But you can have a little bit of flair here and there, but
gotcha.
they don't want you doing too much. Like you probably wouldn't be able to rock like like a neon green like mouth
Right,
guard or
yeah.
something
really?
too crazy. Yeah, they want you to keep it pretty like
I got you.
close
Who's like same
together.
color scheme?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like that's cool. Like I can only wear white accessories. Like I can't wear like a headband that's black. Like everything white.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even like crazier too because my head coach played at Miami like when they were like the U. Like he's in the 30 for 30.
Really?
Bro, they were wearing like a whole bunch of crazy shit. And you're
Yeah.
telling me I can't wear like a black
That's pretty
art,
funny.
right? So next question is how much of it is an honor to play for such a prestigious school and play for the Navy, kind of like your country as well?
Yeah, it's something I definitely don't take for granted. I think I think we all kind of carry it with us when we play, and we do talk about it as a team. If you go into our stadium, there's all these different like naval battles it's kind of surrounds the field. They're on like the walls, like over like the stands, and I feel like that just kind of serves as a reminder to us that we're playing football, but it really is like we're playing like in honor of like the Navy, the military, our country. There's a lot of things that we're playing for here, and it's just something I don't take for granted for sure.
So this next question, I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm gonna say it anyway. They're asking your weekly training split from COD drills. You know?
COD.
Yes, COD. Like look, that top left.
Weekly training split from COD drills to sprint drills. I think they mean change of direction because they say sprint drills, weight lifting.
I got you.
Yeah, I could talk about our training. So last year we brought in a new strength coach, Coach Kritzy, and he is by far the best like strength, agility, any type. 210's up there, D Brown's up there too,
right.
but like from like a real team side of things.
Yeah.
Actually too in high school, our strength coach in high school is pretty legit too, Coach Reiser, but he has just been unreal. Like from my increase in like my vertical, my sprint times, like everything is just like shot up. I've gotten a lot stronger. But yeah, we right now in the summer we train 5 days a week. So we'll Monday, Wednesday, Friday we're lifting. and we're just primarily lifting. We're not on the field at all. And then Tuesday, Thursday, we have just different, agility, like change of direction stuff that we're doing, and then we'll do some kind of like conditioning stuff too to finish it off. But yeah, a little rundown of what we do.
So the last thing, our fellow OTW member JD wants to remind you that they beat you guys 47-7. So
yeah, I think we both ended out in high school pretty even. They beat us a fair amount of times, and they beat us pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, me and Alex beat Central pretty good a few times, pretty bad. So I think can't say I don't think there's a definitive winner and who had the better outcome from high school in that rivalry. But
I got you. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of your partner in crime, you want to come in for a little bit?
Tell JD it's how you finish.
Say that in the mic. All right. You can stay. Just yeah, come around. Yeah, come around. Just try to like put the mic in between you guys so we can hear both of you guys. Yeah. And then I'll make sure your levels are okay.
We got like the same fit on. Yeah.
Eli, can you slide down? Because what you see right here is what's in the camera. So just make sure you're in the shot.
Man right there.
Alex, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
All right, bet.
Sweet.
Eli, how are you?
Good.
All right, bet. We're good. So, obviously, you guys, first grade, as Eli has told me how long you guys have known each other. How much does this guy kind of mean to you right here?
This is my best bud right here.
Yeah.
Like you said, known him for what, 13, 14 years now. Yep. Go back and forth, competitive, but it's all love. So, I love this guy to death. Yeah. Do anything for him. So,
Speaking of, competitiveness, how was it like in high school? Because obviously, like, you guys are pretty like similar. Like, obviously, you're kind of more like, a power back, but obviously, like high school, like you guys are both kind of similar speed, all that kind of stuff. How was it, battling with him every day?
I feel like high school, we kind of just like came together as a team. I feel like we never were super competitive. Obviously, like off season, we do one-on-ones and stuff like that together. Yeah. He'd always line up a receiver, kick my ass. So can I cuss? Is that right? Okay.
We'll bleep it out or something.
Okay, sorry.
We're good.
But yeah, I remember youth. Like that was where it was like we were the guys. It was always like the coaches had the draft, and I was always the first pick, or he's always the first pick, and then the other guy was the second pick. So that's really where I remember the most competitiveness. But like I said, like we were always going back and forth. But I feel like that's what made us so close. We were both safety on defense, and I feel like we just had that connection. We kind of knew what we were thinking before we even said it. So it's definitely special for sure. So
how special is it for you guys to continue playing with each other in college?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. Yeah. I feel like when I meet someone, people come up to me every day and they're like, "Yo, like you and Eli went to the same school," and I'm like, like, "You didn't know that?" Like I feel like that's when I meet someone and talk about Navy, that's the first thing I bring up is I went to high school with this guy, grew up with him, and I just think it's so cool. You don't see that a lot nowadays. It's hard to get recruited to a school like Navy, and it's very prestigious.
Especially at that level.
And it's so cool that it worked out, and I think I wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah. I really do think it's special. So
yeah, so he told me he only had 5-10% of your kind of decision to go to Navy. Can you?
I feel like that's a lie. You think it's way more than 5 to 10%.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of
he likes to tell people it's like plus 50%, but it definitely made it easier. I mean, obviously he committed first, and Navy's a big commitment with the military. I'm sure he talked about it a lot. It made it easier having a buddy to go through it with, and so I would say he definitely takes some of the credit, but. I mean, I'm sure he said Navy's such a special place. Right. Big football, great school, great people. I mean, you really can't pass down something like that. Yeah. So,
all right. Well, thanks for coming on. I think that was great. We'll have I'll finish up with Alex, but appreciate you.
Get out of here. Yeah, don't.